right. Well, as if my sermon wasn't long enough, here's some more things that we can talk about. No, seriously, this is an important sermon series, and I know it's not necessarily super exciting for everybody. It's very fitting that we have someone who was born in London to speak to this matter. So what can we dig deeper into concerning today's sermon on theocracy and democracy?
Well, I mean, throughout the sermon while you're preaching, your ultimate point was what came into my head, which is basically we've got to trust God at the end of the day. And which type of government is better? And the answer is none other than a theocracy with God as the head. In a monarchy where I come from, well, it's great as long as the monarch is the right person. But if it's not, it isn't. And with democracy, like you said, it's the rule of the majority. And as long as the majority is the right person, because we know that majority doesn't make something right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, so many Christians today and not just Christians, okay, this happens with people who aren't Christians. They want a particular person in office because they think that person will solve their problems. And with us Christians, you mentioned about Mike Johnson being a Christian. Right. Funnily enough, when he first said that, I thought it was maybe a baseball player or something. But Christians are going to get hung up on, we need to get a Christian in office. Yeah. We need to get a Christian as the president. We need to get a Christian in this particular position. That'll solve our problems because they're a Christian. Mm-hmm. And that's even a wrong way to think, I think, because, Psalm 118:8 says it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man.
Yep.
Even if we have a perfect Christian head, and I say perfect, there isn't a perfect Christian, even if we have a Christian head somewhere, like we have a Christian as head of our church,
right.
pastor.
And we still have problems.
And we still have problems, Yeah. We love you, we trust you, but we know you're still going to make mistakes. Yes. At the end of the day, we have got to be our eyes on the author and perfecter of our faith.
Amen. As
being the person that is in control, that is orchestrating all these things. We're told not to try and push through and speed up the bad things that happen in our life because of what they do in terms of sanctifying us.
Right.
It's got to be the same with government. It's got to be the same with these things. Yeah. We just got to leave it in God's hands.
Yeah. Trust Him no matter what. There's some great examples that I didn't take the time to get into today. I did mention Joseph in passing and Daniel in passing, but there are many other examples of people who were in very strange and awful situations, and yet they feared God, they followed God, they loved God, and God blessed them despite their circumstances. Mm-hmm. Peter had no friends in government, and yet when he found himself in prison, surrounded by soldiers and in chains, he trusted God. Mm-hmm. His people trusted God, and God just opened the prison and set him free.
Yep.
There was nothing they could do. So God's able to do those kinds of things, and He may save us through some miracle. He may save us through some circumstance. He may send us right through those troubles. We may have to endure them the rest of our lives. Yep. There were people who died in those prison camps, in the Russian prison camps, and the German prison camps. Christian people who loved God and who were faithful to God and who served Him, and yet they died miserable, horrible, awful deaths. Yesterday at the funeral, I talked about Lazarus. He died poor and sick and forsaken, and yet he was God's child. So, we have to trust God no matter what the circumstances are. I have a tendency to want everything to be easy. I want everything to be safe. I want everything to be comfortable. I want it to go my way. But it's not the way it's going to be. No. We got to trust God regardless of what happens.
Amen.
So that's worth your discussion. Spend some time talking politics. Just make sure you keep Jesus in the center of it.
Amen.